Dear Christians, I think I have a problem. I really need you to explain that one. In the Old Testament, God often appears as a punishing force. For instance, by destroying Sodom and Gomorrah, by turning Lot's wife into salt, killing all the Egyptians' firstborns, or by sending a flood to destroy all life on earth. In the New Testament, however, he seems to have changed. He appears as a loving and forgiving God. It almost seems as if God had some character development. That doesn't really make sense to me. If God is all-knowing from the start, therefore knowing how to be the best version of himself, how could he ever improve? That would imply that he learned something that he didn't know before. Furthermore, God punishing people would imply feelings of anger and sadness, as well as a general sense of blame that is set upon the human being. That doesn't make any sense. Emotions are reactions towards a new situation. An all-powerful, an all-knowing entity that is, as defined by Christianity, the source of all existence, will never be reactive, nor will it ever face a new situation. Nothing will ever come unexpected, and since everything is technically its action, it doesn't need to have a reaction. Also, God could never blame the human being for anything. Take the original sin as an example. Eve eats the infamous apple and seduces Adam to do the same. God walks into the garden and for a second is confused about their shameful reaction. After realizing what they did, God gets really angry and banishes them from paradise. None of that makes any sense if we're supposed to believe that God is omniscient and omnipotent. God would have known exactly what was going on. He would have known 1,000,000 years before, and he would have had every power to prevent it from happening. The argument that he wanted mankind to act good on their own and without him forcing them to doesn't really count, because he knew perfectly well that they wouldn't. God, in fact, could never hope for anyone to act good on their own. He would know whether or not it's going to happen. That's the definition of being omniscient. To be honest, nothing could ever happen against God's will, because if he doesn't want it to happen and he does nothing, that would be his decision too, since he actively decided not to do anything, perfectly aware of all consequences that will have. This leaves us with only 3 options. First, God simply really enjoys our suffering and punishing us for stuff that he exactly knew were going to happen, and that could have only been prevented by his interference. Second, God is neither all-knowing nor all-powerful, doesn't quite know what he wants, and is a rather incompetent leader of the universe. Or third, maybe this was all just an ideology created in order to feel better and make others feel worse by people obviously not smart enough to think they're a media force to the end. What do you think? I'm excited to hear what you have to say. I can feel that because I don't already know.